Hey guys, this is Adam Gussow coming to you on a warm, almost a summery feeling day in Oxford, Mississippi. Turn down the music. As you may or may not know, just had a chance to, I guess we used to say release a single. We dropped a single. It's the first single by my new trio, Sir Rod and the Blues Doctors. That's Sir Rod Patterson out of Atlanta, the Blues Doctors out of Mississippi. You've been familiar with that group for the past 7 years, maybe. We've come together. Sir Rod Patterson is Mr. Satan's nephew. The Mr. Satan that I played with for 30 years, so there's something really uncanny and very powerful. And I want to tell you a little bit about this song, and then what I want to do is I'm going to give you a harmonica lesson, and I'm going to show you the chords, because one of the most interesting things about this song, it just has 4 chords. And I stumbled on this progression at some point about 3 years ago, and I'll link. Actually, Alan and I played this. He came over to my house one day for one of our rare rehearsals. We don't rehearse a lot, but we did rehearse that day, and I said, I have found a chord progression. Surely somebody has used this progression. It has an elements of the breakaway section in Freebird, but it has this 4th chord, which is a flat 6 major chord, that just does something powerful. And harmonica playing that is otherwise unexceptional over this chord progression, suddenly stuff sounds really, just feels really cool. And so I'll tell you a little bit about the recording, and I'm going to show you how I played some of the licks. I was going to show you where I made a mistake in the beginning of the solo, because you might think Gussow's coming up with new licks. Sometimes you try for something, it doesn't work, and you go, damn, but you keep playing. You go back and listen to it later, you go, damn, I missed that note. I missed that note. Maybe it's here. Is it here? I think it might be here. Check it out. I missed a note here. Listen. I wanted to go. I want to go back and listen. The point is, I missed a note. And it's there in the solo. I'm telling you, I'm giving this away to you so you'll understand that that's what happened. I missed the note. Okay, so I'm going to put down the harp, and I want to show you something really cool. So, by the way, this is a D harp. Happens to be, by the way, this is one of those $140 custom Joe Spires custom marine band. I could have played this solo on a regular marine band, but I happen, for the key of D, I happen to have this harp. It's such a great harp. I've had it for a while. He's repaired it a couple of times because I play it. I use it on Crossroads. Maybe that's the secret. No, the truth is I could have played it on a stock harp, what we call an out-of-the-box. So look, song's in the key of A. And I don't know if you got a friend maybe who can play the chord progression for you. Maybe we should do a karaoke version. I should get the guitar track alone. That's what I should do. And then you could jam along. Anyway, it consists of 4 major chords. They're not 7th chords. There's nothing adulterated about them. They are just major. It starts off with an A, and I can't show you. This is one of the disadvantages. But it starts off with an A major chord. So if you've got a guitar at home or a friend who can play, and then it goes to the flat 3. I got to go, what's that? That's a B flat major. So it goes A major, wait a minute, C major. That's the flat 3rd. So we're going boom, 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 boom. So it's going to the D. It's going A, C major, D major, and then the magic happens. Now, what's interesting is the breakaway section in Freebird. So I was not trying to copy Freebird, but here's what I'll tell you. This is a magic progression because the 4th chord. And the first time I started playing it, I couldn't stop playing it. It was like it just wanted to keep going. Our recording engineer said, Adam, you've come up with a jam band anthem. I said, well, I'm a blues guitar player, but it does have a jam band feel. So, A, so, goes to the F. F major to G major, but as a kind of passing chord. But basically it's going to the F. Now what's weird is A, that's root, flat 3rd, 4th, that's sharp, that's flat 6th, flat 7th, and back. you imagine a song that has just those 4 chords, what we call ad infinitum, which means iterate to infinity, basically. It just keeps going, keeps going. And if you try this, so what should a blues harmonica player do over a progression like that? Well, before I get to the blues harmonica, let me just say, Rod and Alan Gross, the guitar player, and I got together. Rod saw the Satan and Adam movie. He said he wanted to just get together, and I was like, "That's cool." You know. So he said, "I lived with that guitar player, Sterling McGee. He was my uncle. He's my mother's brother." And after he became Mr. Satan, for a couple of years, he came back down to Florida and lived with us in St. Petersburg when I was a teenager. I said, wow. We started telling stories. So like 3 years before I ran into Mr. Satan, Sterling McGee, on the streets of Harlem in '86, he was living down there with Rod. You know, I have a friend who used to joke about brothers from another mother, but it's like we both were mentored by Mr. Satan. Remember, he had dropped his name Sterling McGee, he'd become Mr. Satan. It's kind of a crazy story. You could not invent a story like this. So, I don't know. I said, well, Rod, what do you do? And Rod is a singer and a dancer. He was a dancer when he was a teen. He told me some of the stories. He was like making money at the age of 16 doing like Michael Jackson impersonations, and did a lot of kind of karaoke stuff until about 5 years ago. He was working in schools. He does. Man, this is just, it's getting freaky. All right, this is it's like the devil is working on us, trying to mess with me. I don't know what is going on. So I'm telling you a story, but this thing, meanwhile, it's like I'm worried that the video is not coming through. It is just one of those, it's one of those days. I hope some fragment of this comes through. Anyway, I sent him a link to the music. He said, I'll write something for that. He wrote the lyrics that day, drove to Mississippi the next day, and we laid it down. So that's what we're working with, and we're working with a bulky camera. Shit, wait a minute. Let me try that again. Isn't that the beginning? Gussow's trying to copy his own stuff, and I can't. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I should be able to play my own stuff, and I can't. See, what's getting me is that I think I missed that first little lick. Okay, I think I've memorized my own solo. It's like Whammer Jammer. This will be the epic. My inability to play my own stuff, much less Magic Dick's. All right, I can show you that. I can show you that. I'll show you that, and then the lesson's over. This is all I got. Because I played it different every single time, you know? I mean, you don't know what's going to, you just sort of roll into it. So it's interesting. I went all the way down to the one draw. But honestly, I think it sounds better. That's how I would normally do it, but I rolled from 2 to 2 draw, whole step bend to 1 draw, and then I jumped up to the blue third, the 3 draw with a quarter tone bend, and the 4 blow, with a little bit of quiver in my throat on that 3 draw. And then I did this riff, which I like. I love this riff. It seems really distinctive. I guess I invented this because it fit. But it's mostly that first riff, which is not a normal kind of, like Little Walter didn't do this riff. The thing about my channel is that I know that Little Walter probably did do that riff on one obscure record, and one of you will know that and you'll post that. So maybe I did steal it from Little Walter. So there I'm actually doing my classic kind of transition from lip pursing to tongue blocking, which gives full-time tongue blockers nightmares. Doing a bent 4 draw to unbent 4 draw to the 5 draw, and then I'm going tongue blocked, 3/6 blow to 2/5 draw. Back to lip pursed, 4 draw bend twice, 4 blow to 3 draw with a little bit of the 4 in and the 3's bent slightly. So I'm going back and forth. So let's review the whole opening riff of Come Together. And I can't even do it the way that I did it on the record, the recording, because it just doesn't feel right to me. And that's what I did. So let's do that second part. And let me just give you a little bit of analysis. Notice how what I did the second time around began the same way. Starts with very unsophisticated, just hitting the downbeat, beat 1, 2, 3. So the first time it was. And the second time around, didn't bend that quite enough. So each time I'm going down at first after a boom, boom, boom on the 2 draw, and then I'm going up, but I'm going up to different places each of the 2 times. Let's refresh. I want to go back and do I'll do the first 4-bar thing. And by the way, notice that the timing of the breath in between those 2 riffs is kind of important. In other words, I think for many of you, that's going to be the tricky thing, is getting the timing. When does that bent 4 come in? You know what's so interesting about this as process, and I would want to speak about process. When I first started trying to teach this, just in the course of this lesson, I hadn't paid close enough attention to my own recorded solo to actually be able to do it. So it's not, and the reason for that is because this is something I improvised in the moment. I have a range of licks, but in that actual recorded performance, I wasn't playing a script. I wasn't doing what I'm doing now and actually tracking notes that I've pre-established. I was just playing it. Does that make sense? And that's why musicians always have amazed me, because they're just able to do that. But that's actually the key to the whole thing, and it's why it's so important that even as I'm asking you to try to track my notes and track my licks precisely, because there's something important in the discipline of getting them right, it's really important that you make the song your own and that you begin to play stuff and then assess. Every time you play something that's not my Gussow thing, you need to say, how does that sound? Does that sound good? You might take it your own place. And I think that's sort of the whole point of the song. And what we're going to do now, let's move ahead. Let's move ahead and let's cut into the meat of the song. Maybe I'll go to the solo. Let's see what we got. I'm going to cut ahead. We're going to cut ahead to about let's go to the 1 minute point. Let's see what we got. 103. We need to open our hearts. We're so much stronger together. We really need each other. I'm talking about. now, and again, the swing is so important. So that's actually most of that's tongue block, that latter part. So let me rehearse why it sounds good. I mean, let's rehearse why it works. Because that second note, that's the root of the chord that we're moving to. In fact, there's a good simple riff you could do. So for those of you who are beginners, advanced beginners, and are just hanging on by the skin of your teeth, let's do that. Yeah, I've been partial for that. I really liked that particular kind of lick. Often I'll do a tongue block, and then I'll go back to lip purse. That's actually a really effective riff at this kind of straight time, chugging along kind of tempo. So let's, what I like to do is I like to take a listen. Let's listen to the solo, see if there's one little thing. I'm talking about love. So we're sort of... Here's the... I don't know what I was doing. The point is I didn't get the note. Now I can't even remember what mistake I made. Sounds like it's time for this lesson to be over. Sounds like the good doctor is just getting a little sleepy, a little senile. So there, that was one particular place where I da 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 da. That's actually a really nice rhythm in it. Hey everybody, this lesson's over. Maybe I'll come back, maybe a little more analysis, but I think we've already gotten enough. Remember, it's a 4-chord progression. Starts on the A, goes up to the flat third, which is a C, goes up to the fourth, which is a D, and goes up to the flat 6. These are all major chords, which is an F. Remember that F, the major third in that F chord, is an A. I'm so dumb. And that's why it sounds good, because it's got the root of the song in it. It's got the key of the song right there, but it's a flat 6 chord, and it wants to go back home, which is going to have that same A in it. But the A is going to be the root. So anyway, does that make sense? I hope. Come together, y'all. Come together. Please go and check out the song. It's on YouTube. It's not available for sale, so you got to actually listen to it. Play the video to listen to it. But at some point soon, it's going to be everywhere. We're arranging that right now. All right, take care. See you down the road. Let me try that one more time. We're done. See you down the road. Bye-bye.